Hi, it's Jon Mercer here, and in this short video I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and how I got involved in all this stuff and what I actually do. Today I'm a personal development coach and a teacher, and I have several websites, and I work with people that have these kind of issues in their life. I started out at the age of about 13. I developed some social anxiety and agoraphobia type symptoms, and I began having panic attacks a little bit later in my teens. Now, at that young age, I was, really ashamed of this problem, especially, you can imagine, as a teenager. You're ashamed of everything as a teenager. You have no real sense of who you are at that age. You're struggling to find it. So I was really ashamed of this, and I hid the problem from everyone. I never talked about it. I just knew that I was different, and I felt a bit like a freak because I had some of these issues. And it took a long time before I understand what these things were and sort of developed any self-esteem about myself, because I felt pretty bad about myself in the early days there, just not knowing what it was I was dealing with and not understanding that it wasn't my fault. But I had agoraphobia, social phobia, and then later in my teens I began having panic attacks. And I remember the first one I ever had was in a car driving on the freeway around Atlanta, Georgia. And I'd never experienced anything like that. I just felt that, I was going to die. I didn't know why. I thought maybe I'm having a heart attack or I can't breathe or something. And I actually pulled the car off the road on the freeway and had to get out of the car because I had this trapped feeling that I was trapped there somehow in this traffic and everything. And it was an odd thing. And it was years later before I began to realize what this experience was and how this was agoraphobia and what it actually meant and what it was all about. It took a long time to figure out how this stuff worked and what I could begin doing about it. That took ages. But that was the first one I had, and I had other ones later after that. I had some problems with what people, fear of disease and things like this, hypochondria. I had those kind of things, and in my late teens and into my early 20s. And it made life pretty hard, actually. And if you're dealing with these kind of problems, you can probably understand that and relate to that. It makes things much more difficult than they have to be. And then on top of that, what makes it even worse is that, if you're like me anyway, you feel ashamed about the problems, for years like I did. And just completely hiding it. I never mentioned to anyone, even within my family, that I had these issues until I was in my mid-30s. And at that was the point when actually things began to improve. And what set me on the right path at that point, I went through years and years of doing the wrong thing. And as I explained in the series, I tried the medical approach. I assumed that this was a medical condition or medical disease, then some doctor had to fix me. And they never did. It doesn't really work that way. People have to fix themselves that have these issues, but actually nothing needs fixing in particular. It's not that you need to be fixed, but you need to learn how to deal with, your personality and these symptoms and these habits that you have. You have to learn how to deal with those. So it's not, anything to fix. You're not broken. You don't need fixing. But anyway, I assumed that someone would come from outside and fix me. I didn't know how this stuff worked. And that just went horribly, for so many years. It went from bad to worse, and I began taking medications and antidepressants, and I was on those for about 7 years. I gained an enormous amount of weight, had horrible side effects, no energy. I couldn't work out or do the things I had normally done. And even today, I have about a year of time in there where my memory is horrible. I can't really remember what happened in places there. As a matter of fact, when my girlfriend first met me, she used to call me Mr. Short-Term Memory. That was right around the time when I actually was about to get off the medication, but I was still taking it when we met. And I had a terrible memory. I would tell her something on Wednesday and tell her the same thing Thursday, and she'd say, "You told me that," and I would be shocked and argue with you. "No, I didn't. I never said that." My memory was awful. Today it's pretty good. It's recovered a lot from all that stuff. So because of my experiences with drugs for medication and all that, I wanted to put out an alternative to that, because I just don't think it's the way to go. I think that as a short-term solution, it can help to get people stable. And I encourage people that have severe problems to see a doctor and get stable. And if this stuff can help you in the short term, I think it's great. But as a long-term solution to live your life that way, I think for most people, it's a really, really horrible idea. And I don't think that we hear that enough in society. I think there is way too much emphasis on just take some drug every day of your life and it's all going to be great. And the truth is, for most people, it doesn't work out that way. So I don't know if you've had experiences like that, but if you have, I can sympathize, because I know in my case I had a lot of problems on this medication. I switched and tried several different kinds of medications and became addicted to one of the medications, and that caused me severe withdrawal side effects when I got off of it. So things began to turn around for me only when I made a decision to get off the medications, and I talked to my doctor, and at the time my doctor didn't agree with that, so I got a new doctor. You know, this is America. In this country, if you don't like your doctor, you know, he don't like what he's telling you, you just get a new doctor. So that's what I did. I got a new doctor, and he agreed with me that we should try getting off this medication, and he helped me work out a plan over a long period of time, about 6 months actually, to gradually get off the medication, because I had been on it for a long, long time. So if anybody out there is thinking about getting off medications, understand that you know, I'm not the authority on this, and I can't advise you on that. You need to talk to your doctor, and you need to work out a plan with your doctor to do this. It's dangerous to stop taking these medications by yourself. It just is. You can have horrible side effects or withdrawal symptoms. You don't want to go there. Work with your doctor on that, just like I did. And I finally got off the medication. That was a big point for me. That, and I quit looking at the situation as a medical condition. I refuse to look at it that way today. And that really began putting me on the right path, the path to discovering what did work and what would overcome these problems, and led me to where I am today. When I got to a certain point and achieved enough of a breakthrough, I began working with other people and trying to put information out there and coach other people in the same information to try to help them to do the same thing. And you know, it's comforting that I get a lot of good emails from all over the world. People will send me an email telling me that how this stuff has helped, and it makes it all worthwhile. So I'd like to hear your story as well. You know, send us an email and tell us, you know, give us your success story. And that's really the reason that I do it. You know, I got into it because I love working with computers. I wanted to have a website, and I really wanted to share this information that took me so many years to get. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, kind of. You know, it took a lot of heartache, kind of, to go through all this bad stuff and get to a point where I felt good enough about it that I could talk to people about it and try to make their lives a little easier, hopefully so that people won't have to go through the kind of crap that I had to go through. So that's what I wish for you, and I wish you all the best and the very best on your life after anxiety and panic. Take very good care of yourself, and I'll see you around. Take care.